Alright, now we're reading chapter 25 of the Bakemonogatari manga adaptation. Araragi has just said goodbye to his kohai and has noticed that there's something a little off, something strange about the way she thought of Senjo Gahara before Hanekawa as the person in his grade with really good marks. And has started to put together that perhaps she's been lying to him this whole time and only trying to get closer to him. But why? It's better to wrap this up quickly. The memo I got from Hanekawa. Uh-oh. Lost the precious note. Oh, there she is. Efficiency test. Didn't know how to say that directly, so I had Hanekawa write a list for me. Sure. Bunch of books you gotta check out. Nice fan-servicey shot of Hanekawa. Just for bonus. Ah, he dropped it from running away from Kanpuru. This shot is really nice. This looks like a Fujiko Fujita sort of panel. The guy who does Doraemon. That kind of cartoony movement. We usually ask Senjo Gahara, but as her boyfriend, I still didn't have the courage to show her how lame I actually was. Popular. In 3 days, she was shadowing and talking to me. Can't get my point across. No idea what I want to do. What will be Hanekawa's advice? Don't think about it too hard. Told you directly that she likes you. That's some arrogant protag. I can't just get popular out of nowhere. Well, I mean, this is just it though. He knows that there's this overwhelming forming force of illogic that Kanpuru is busting through. So he knows in his heart there must be some reason. He hasn't put together exactly what it is yet, but he knows it can't just be this convenient eroge development. You're an aggregate picture was out of your romance target as well, huh? God knows about Eric. I humbly decline. For a second, Araragi pictured 500,000 H scenes in his head. And just this one instant, this one panel of him staring up at her. But then she declines, and he pulls a pretty goofy face. He's got a big stack of books. I don't know how he expects to carry this home. If that was the case, I might be one of those difficult characters. Kind of girl, if I get close to her or misunderstanding, I wouldn't be getting close to her at all. Heard a rumor about Kanpuru being fierce when it comes to love. List of personality. Kanpuru and I have no common points whatsoever. She saw you pick up an abandoned cat. And here Hanekawa is alluding to another incident, which is covered in another prequel, which I'm reading the light novel of right now. But the kind of interweaving of these stories across chronological ordering, I think, is quite funny. Like, this one makes sense, because it's something that actually happened before the scenes that we're seeing depicted right now. But then in the light novel, in the prequels, they keep making references to things that happen in the sequels, and they get called out. Like, he'll just be like, that hasn't happened yet, or something. like a very quick, casual fourth wall breaking dismissal of whatever bizarre chronologically transgressing remark they make. But it's funny because it's still valid if you're making these sort of thematic links. If you're kind of tightening the story together by kind of calling attention to these echoes and these recurring motifs and things like that, it's all great. Like it when you're looking at the entire scope of the work and as the project, like it still adds to it in the same way as one that does follow proper chronological ordering. So I don't know. I think it's all fine. It did not happen. Didn't see an abandoned cat. Real cats that just sit around once they're in a cardboard box. It's like one trained cat. This is bizarre. You got a little military cat hanging out in this box, but whatever. I'm afraid of cats. Not that I hate them, I'm scared. See, this is both a reference, like chronologically, that they're both kind of aware of what he really means by this, but then it's actually like foreshadowing if you're reading this in the publication order and not the chronological order, which is what this manga is adopting as well. So it's it's great. It's all a big mess, but it's great. Ah, see, now here's a very direct reference. Here's Hanekawa herself in the black Hanekawa mode, playing with some entrails. Golden Week, the cat admiralty. I feel cold just remembering it. The love at first sight is actually a real phenomenon in this world. Fell in love with Shinjo Gahara-san. And is this foreshadowing as well? I don't know. The fact that Shinjo Gahara and I are dating has been public knowledge for quite a while now. Yeah, see? This is good. This is good storytelling, okay? When you have a twist like this, when you have kind of a hidden cause, I think it's too much to ask to have it entirely in the dark from the readers. And to just rely on them remembering like basically every fact or like a search space of every fact about the series to be able to puzzle it together. That's asking a lot. And I don't think that's necessarily adds anything to the story to make it unnecessarily challenging to catch foreshadowing and to anticipate twists. But if you can reference the clues, like if you can kind of bring up these elements again in a way that seems natural, in a way that doesn't seem forced, such that you don't necessarily feel like you're being given clues, but that you're just witnessing natural conversations and developments and stuff, that is pretty sweet. That I'm like, I think I'm all about. Because it, even if you don't like kind of catch what's happening, when the twist is revealed, it's all there still kind of fresh in your memory. And you can grasp the impact of it immediately. I think that's really important. This last panel here is bizarre too. These flowers with eyes and mouths and stuff. Looking a little Yume Nikki or Georgia O'Keeffe or some intersection thereof. I'm the type of person to have rumors spread about me, and Shinjigura's special stance of being there as if it was natural as air remained the same. So nobody exactly made any cheers or jeers at us. Well, now, Aragi-kun, you're probing around right now, but Camera Offense may confess to you in the near future. Right? So, but you know by now what's going on. Probably because you've just watched the anime, dear viewer. But I feel like by now my unsubtle hints and pointed remarks has made the reality of this situation quite apparent. And my general excitement about this entire arc. An excitement that is tinged in tragedy and kind of sorrow. You probably know why. If you watch this channel a lot, you know about the other kind of stuff I like. So you might know what this is all building to. The word guilt actually came out of your mouth. So things are going well with you and Shinjo Gahara-san. Maybe you grew up a bit too. Does that have to do with anything? So she's implying that she's convinced that Kanbaru has just fallen instantly in love, or at least she's kind of amused by this idea and is pursuing it. And that Araragi-kun, part of the reason he feels so anxious about the situation is that he feels guilty having a girlfriend and then screwing around and having fun with this cute, famous Kohai. She's like, yeah, maybe you should feel guilty about this. Look at the root of that word. It means eyes behind you hurt. Interesting. Actions are always being watched by someone. By being conscious of that, you're putting yourself into law. That's what that means. Isolation, was it? That you, before you built walls around your surroundings after saying that, you paid no attention to the eyes around you. So the walls are coming down again. Araragi-kun used to be a person who lived by isolation, who thought friends make you weak, basically. It was better to be a zhush sort of human being, entirely self-sufficient. And this is interesting too. The sort of guilt that he's feeling. Hanekawa, of course, is implying one source, but really, there's something else that is causing someone to judge him, causing other people to make piercing glares at him behind his back. He just doesn't know who or why yet. He doesn't exactly pay that much attention to me. One word Hanekawa unleashed in her usual manner, for some reason just latched onto something inside of me. You really know everything, huh, Hanekawa? Oh man, he managed to fit all those books in there. Nice. Me, I try to keep myself in isolation. Completely different kind of human. Don't know everything, just the things I know. Always getting all the attention. Existence is the polar opposite of me. Someone that attracts infinite eyes. A representative of the people. What an amazing two-page spread. What kind of bizarre Geiger-esque, you know, that guy who did like the aliens designs and such. Kind of reminds me of that. A mixture of the kind of mechanical and the psychedelic and the kind of like that Persian fractality, but then also very organic, representing some gigantic social machine that has turned its attention on Kanbaru. She wields both the microphone and the megaphone. Ooh, I love it. I love it so much. Okay, awesome shot. But what will he learn from all of this? What can he figure out? For me, someone like that is actually a captive. A place where you're trapped by the strong walls of human eyes. A jail. This is sort of like the Omni-Panopticon, I think it's called. This was an architectural design. It's kind of a conceptual thing meant to take kind of a line of thinking to its furthest reasonable limits. And it would be a big cylinder where every room would face with opening interiorly, like a missing a wall in the interior of the cylinder, such that everyone can see into everyone else's room. It would be curved such, they actually worked out geometrically how this would be possible. I guess you couldn't see the rooms that were directly above you. I don't get how that works. Maybe there's some system or something. But you get one of those like periscopes you can look up. But the point was that you could excuse me. The point was that everyone could see everyone else at all times. And that this was supposed to kind of create a standoff of good behavior. And this was proposed for like prisons, but then I think you were just supposed to consider also just what it would be like to live your life entirely under such a system for anyone, for an innocent person. I think that's what it's called. The Panopticon, the Omni-Panopticon, something like that. It's the complete opposite of me, someone on the other side of the mirror. Well, this is also maybe insane foreshadowing or something. We won't get into that. When I thought about it, I kind of understood why I found Kanbaru so difficult, why I'm running away from her, so I feel. I decided, or I should have. No, I haven't done anything at all. That guy is obviously inside me, even now. So this is kind of neat. We're going all the way back to this initial confrontation where out of nowhere his bike gets smashed. And basically, the entire last few chapters are him going through the events of these last few days and concluding that even though guilt was a subject, even though guilt latched onto him, and even though he's had all of these sort of big thinks about what it means to be perceived, what it means to have rumors spread about you, what it means to be in the public eye, he's decided, I have nothing to feel guilty about. And thus, the attack remains a mystery. The one other me. Oh, I see, I see. So this is maybe his other theory. This has something to do with his vampiricism. Or maybe, oh great, just really wanted to draw this panel, because this panel is insane. Look at this crown she's wearing. Oh my lord. How horrific. This looks like one of those old Final Fantasy bosses that you fought and then it like scrolled up and then you fought like another level of it. I'm thinking in Final Fantasy VI specifically there's a few of these, but I think there's a few in 4 and 5 as well. Do you know what I'm talking about? The big multi-stagers? The Monster King and Me. Don't like the tendency to explain every single thing with romance. Power of love, was it? Really solves everything. I don't know how easy the world's going to be. A lot easier for me to accept looking for Kimber's secondary, more pragmatic goal since I'm sure she has one. Smart. Besides, planning out my strategy for the most difficult character here. Let's talk about Hanekawa. He still wants the Hanekawa. It's just told something unpleasant. So here we are at Senjo Gohara's apartment. Really, really wonderful shot here with all the bare light bulbs hanging down, the exposed grid work of the trusses and stuff up above. And you can kind of see over the walls into the next apartments too. So in one sense, this is kind of like a shaft-like architecture, because they always have these sort of impossible architectures of endlessly repeating patterns and such a. Whereas this, though, could conceivably depict reality. Like, if we're seeing the entire floor of the apartment building from this angle, outside of the fact that she probably doesn't have that many light bulbs, this is a fairly realistic shot. So it's kind of like both. Like, they're finding the opportunity for kind of this Shaftian image in the spaces, the confines or spaces, and then I said spaces, in the confines of the real world. You see what I'm saying? That's very cool. This is very cool. It's just a fantastically staged page. What was she told that was unpleasant? I don't know. We will have to find out in the next chapter. After a nice illustration of Shinobu. Okay. Nice. This is the end of volume 4, it looks like. Cool, cool. Alright. Alright. So we will read chapter 6 in a moment. Please join me for it tomorrow.